Hello and welcome back. Our next two speakers have been collaborating together, and as Jay just now said, if you want to do something well, do it by yourself. If you want to do something great, get help. And that's what's going on here. Jorvon Aj has been making awesome companion robots for quite a long time now. I'm sure you all know him. Shawn Hymel has been dabbling with LLMs, machine learning, etc. And putting them together is going to give Jay's robots the ability to speak. So please join me in welcoming to the Hackaday SuperCon stage, Jorvon Moss and Shawn Hymel.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming out. So I'm going to let Jay kick this off and describe the thought process behind these robots and how we got to this point.
Sure, no pressure. Don't put me on stage or anything. So I came up with the idea because I've told the story many times before that I don't human very well, so I do better with robots. So thanks to that, I decided to start working on my own personal best friend robots that was inspired by Alex Glow and then became wearable robots, and then it became a hyperfixation that I've been having a problem with for about 8 years now. I am sorry. That's a mouthful. This new one is my newest main child, known as Digit, and this one is Digit 03. So as people know me, I have a problem with stopping, so I do multiple iterations. I've gone from prototype Digit 00, 01, 02, 03, 04, micro Digit, and now micro Digit 02-04. I can say I'm pretty good at this point. So, of course, I've always wanted to make my robots a little bit smarter, so I've learned I'm not that smart, but I have smart friends. So I was able to poke Shawn and was like, hey, I have this idea. Do you mind helping me out? And this started this crazy collab with this personal one, Digit, to start talking.
I got you.
Oh, thank you. So, designing your bestie. I've been designing my bestie for a long time. Because humans, you guys have the same design. I'm sorry. 2 arms, 2 legs. I can't carry y'all around all the time. It's not that much fun for me. So I've been working on Digit, like I said, for a long time. This is open source. This was at Maker Faire, literally like last month, I believe. And then, of course, behind my giant head is the first 3 I built because I was in a rush to try to figure out all the good things in the designs. So the things I always try to focus on, of course, is wearability. It has to look good, and it has to be comfy. It's very important. Unique design. I went for a bug design because I think bugs have the best design on the planet Earth right now. There's a whole bunch of different types of bugs, and I just kind of went with it. And able to be upgraded, because constantly I'm upgrading though. As you can see from the old 03 here in front of us, I am constantly thinking of new ways to make it look better and do more with it. So the evolution of wearability has been a fun time, because if you've been following me for years, you've known I've done many different wearable robots, and I have tried everything. I've done straps, I've done GoPro packs, I've done backpacks, I've done fanny packs, I've done, what was the things called? I've done pretty much everything. If it's wearable, I'm pretty sure I tried to strap a robot to it at one point or another. So I have a lot of understanding at this point in my career of how to make a decent wearable robot. Introducing something I call the MagnoPath system. So recently, when I made this version of Digit and these other versions of Digit, I figured out that the answer was always looking right in front of me. Magnets. Yeah, I know, it sounds weird because originally when I first started, I tried using magnets, but they weren't strong enough. It would slip and slide, and it would just fall off. So one of my coworkers, an amazing guy named Nate, was like, hey, I have these ridiculously strong magnets that can hold up a toddler. So I was like, it could probably work on my shoulder. So I designed it into the robot itself and then added metal plating into my vest and things like that, and also made sure to have a flex bottom too to make sure that it fits and comfort around. And now I have this little guy who sits here, and it's pretty good. I know, it's perfect. I have a better vest that actually has other magnets on it. This one actually has metal plates. When it's magnet on magnet, I can pretty much run away from the police, and I'll totally get away without falling off. So if I ever have to do an action movie scene, I have to make sure I'm wearing the right vest.
Okay, my turn.
Yeah, your turn.
All right. So I want to say it was, I don't know, a year and a half ago, Jay and I were talking, and Jay goes, hey, I want to make a robot I can talk to. Think like Baymax or one of these. You know, every robot in sci-fi, you can talk to them. Even if they respond with just beeps and whistles, they can understand you, and they respond with something else. This has been a tricky thing unless you're doing like basic speech to text and have some like if statements to like respond. You could give it commands, and that was always fine. But now that we're in the age of ChatGPT and wonderful LLMs, we can actually start having kind of human conversations with these things. So the idea initially when Jay and I were talking, we're like, hey, can we just like use that ChatGPT, the open AI API, and just make calls to the internet? And Jay's response was, no, I want to wear this outside into conferences. And we all know how well the internet works at conferences. So that led me down this path of trying to find an LLM that was small enough to run on a single board computer, and then finding a single board computer that would run it fast enough. At the time, what was this, like April maybe, I think? Something around there. Llama 3 had just come out. This is, I believe, Meta's Llama framework. The 8 billion parameter model just came out, and it was fast enough to run on a Pi. And what I mean, or sorry, it was small enough to run on a Pi, fast enough to give you a response in like 30 seconds to 60 seconds, which is horrible if you're just sitting there waiting for the robot to respond to you. But the 8 billion parameter one could actually fit on some of these single board computers put out by NVIDIA, so that led us to the NVIDIA Jetson Orin Nano, which is kind of affordable, like $500, so it's way more expensive than a Pi, but it's kind of affordable, and we can run it with a battery, making it kind of portable, and we put it in like Jay's backpack for now. Good enough, so that allows us to have an interface to something that can run these LLMs. And so at the time, this thing was like pretty bad. It's actually like scoring pretty horribly on these quality indexes. This is from, what is it, artificialanalysis.ai. It's this like generic score over here is a combination of these various benchmarks, MMLU, GPQA, math, human eval. They're data sets that they're now used as benchmarks. I don't know a whole lot about them. I just know that Llama 3 scores pretty poorly on them. Since then, we've gotten like Gemini 1.5, Llama 3.1 that are actually doing a little better or even much better. I just haven't tried these yet, so that's going to be a, hey, the next thing we're going to do, let's try some of these other LLMs. Like this one came out like almost like just a month ago. So that's going forward. We're going to try some of these new ones. And they were scored across like general knowledge, math problems, ability to synthesize codes. Like how do we create a good LLM that can do the stuff we want it to do? So that led Jay to building this system where it's got, when it flips around, you'll see it, it's got the NVIDIA Jetson Orin Nano on the back, it's got a big honkin' battery here, and at the time he had a screen, although that's been updated to what's on the back of his laptop right now. The battery's on the floor, so he just SSHs into the NVIDIA board and just says, hey, start running what I call the Hopper chat code.
It took me 3 months to figure that out, by the way.
Wait, which part? How to attach or SSH?
Oh, no, just to actually SSH into it. I had that huge thing for like months.
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, because it was like initially it was just like a piece of plywood with it like bolted on there, and that's like it got better and better as he iterated. So this system, I've got a GitHub link if you're curious about checking it out. It's kind of a naive approach to create this speech system. So we've got a microphone, and it's using this speech-to-text system, the Alpha Cephei, if I'm pronouncing that right, VOSC system. It's decent text, speech-to-text. It goes through a wake word detection, so I think it's like, hey, digit. When it sees that, right, it's just doing like string comparison. It's pretty straightforward. It then, like anything after that, it takes the whole query that it hears and sends that off to the LLM. So that's just OLlama running in a Docker container, and it is running the Llama 3 8 billion parameter model. That response comes back to this client that then sends that response to the text-to-speech system, which is Raspberry Piper, another Docker container, and then that comes back through the client and out to the speaker. So there are better ways to do this. Like I'm not happy with this wake word detection. I want an actual wake word detection system because it's kind of consuming all of this speech to text right now. But this is the naive approach. It works. It's all done in Python. Hooray! So with that in mind, I think we can give it a try with a live demo.
Sure, we can give it a shot.
Ooh.
I would like to point out, too, that if you understood any of this, you're more ahead than I am, because I just let him do all this part. I listened and nodded my head and just said, yeah, okay.
Sure. Shawn, how do I make this run? Okay. Oh, no.
All right, let's see if we can make this work.
All right, we're going to try this with the microphones.
All All right, we're up and running. Let's see if it can hear me now. So I have Digit designed in a way that when sound comes through him, he'll turn green. So give me a second. Hey, Digit. Why is the sky blue? Okay, you heard us. Cool. So give it a second, and it should reply. Do you want to put the microphone?
Yeah, where's the speaker?
It's in the back. It's a horrible design. I apologize. I'm working on it. Thank you.
It is a slick design.
Okay, let's see. It does take a little bit of time depending on what questions you ask it, and I have noticed because it is based off of Facebook, it has some biases. I had to let it know that we did land on the moon and that the Earth is not flat, so be careful about which model you use.
The sky appears blue because of a phenomenon called Rayleigh scattering, where shorter wavelengths of light are scattered more than longer wavelengths by tiny molecules in the atmosphere.
Ta-da!
All right, I'm gonna ask it one.
Okay. Wait, let me double check. Hold the microphone, man.
Yeah, I got you.
No, it heard you. Oops. Oh no, it's our timeout. Okay, so we have a thing on here that's a timeout. So every 60 seconds, because I get bored and I do have this on at home, it will.
I reckon that's just plain up.
Yeah, no, you don't need to do that. So I have this thing because you can actually edit the large language model. So every 60 seconds, it actually will play an idle thing. So I have it be passive aggressive or Southern. I didn't know both of those things can mix. So it calls me honey a lot and sugar.
Sugar,
and then it says bless your heart a lot. I didn't know that was an insult until my robot started calling me that. Someone told me. All right, Shawn, do the wake word.
Hey, Digit.
Nope, try again.
Hey, Digit.
Nope.
Hey, Digit.
It doesn't like you.
No, it keeps picking up other sounds from the area. Like I said, this wake word system is not my favorite.
And it just heard all of that.
Hey, Digit. Hey, Digit.
There we go.
Tell me a joke.
Really? You did the joke thing again?
Yep.
Okay, this is going to be very
Why
entertaining.
did the computer go on a diet? Because it wanted to lose some bites.
It didn't give me so the other thing you've been playing with is prompt engineering and
Yes.
like you said, trying to make it Southern or depressed or passive aggressive and trying to give it personalities.
Yes.
That's been a lot of fun to play with.
I'm still working on it. I call it programming quirks. And you can do a lot by editing the engineering prompt for it. So you can give it different personalities, make it Southern. I've made it be passive aggressive. I made it depressed one time, which is, don't make your robot depressed, guys. It goes through a whole lot of problems when it's depressed. But I'm still working on it. I want it to be better. I want it to have a lot of different add-ons. Eventually, I want to find a way to actually have the Jetson board on the robot, so I either have to start lifting bigger weights or find a way to actually make the system better. So Q&A?
Yeah, so that's actually the end of our talk.
Yeah.
So if you're curious about the code, it's up there. Feel free to follow us. And I believe we have a few minutes. I'm looking at the coordinators for Q&A. Yeah, if y'all have any questions, let us know.
Please, I'm here now. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't sleep last night, so my social battery after this will probably be very low. So please, hit me now. Here you go.
This is awesome. Thank you. My question is, what are the options? Where do they go from here for lowering the latency?
I just heard it say, bless your heart. Oh, my goodness.
Excuse me.
So-
I'm just going to turn this off really quickly. Excuse me.
Oh my goodness. So lowering the latency, there's a number of things we want to try. First of all, trying some of the new LLMs that have come out that promise to be, more tokens per second, so they are faster. The other thing is obviously increasing the hardware. So the Jetson Orin Nano is probably like their intro board at this point for the Orin series. So getting our hands on an Orin AGX should 10x the speed, should hopefully lower that latency. So the big thing is waiting for that LLM to respond. And so it's just throwing more processing power, getting better tops out of it. So that's kind of the thing is better models, more GPU is
Yeah.
really the answer.
A lot more GPU, more prompt engineering, and I personally have learned, which I haven't tested yet, I have a robot at home to test this with, I found out that if I add another hard drive to the actual NVIDIA board, I can actually start programming it to memorize certain things That way I can start remembering people and like also our conversations. It'll start keeping a backlog, which may take up some processing power, but I think if I end up hacking a gaming computer's chipboard and attach it to the NVIDIA board as extra processing power, I'm sorry, I've been doing this for a while, but sure. Out.
We've talked a little bit about privacy in the past, and especially in terms of recording people's voices and conversations and stuff. I know you've thought about implementing some privacy features like offline processing. What have you got going on right now with that?
See, the cool thing about this, and the main reason I want it to be offline, I don't want any company to have your information. And one of my biggest things is I would like everyone to have like their own emotional support robot. And I would like you to have all the information on your own stuff, so no one can like hack your server and be like, oh, you're depressed. Let me just start, giving you these ads. So I do my best to make sure everything is very much open source. I want you to be able to do this by yourself or with help from a friend, because like I said, if you want to be good, do it by yourself. Want to be great, get a friend. So I'm pretty much doing my best when it comes to that. When it comes to privacy, I don't turn on the brain until I'm ready to turn on the brain. And you will know, because as you see, every 60 seconds, it'll just start insulting me. So.
Oh, that was from prompt engineering. I did not have anything to do with that.
Hey, in my defense, it's funny.
It gets views.
It gets views. Any other questions? Oh, back there. Oh.
Oh. So what I did was actually multi-thread like almost every stage that you saw up there. And I did my best to be like, oh, when the tokens are coming out, put those in a queue and let the text-to-speech thread just start handling those. The issue is that I'm trying to delineate that on like punctuation. So like periods, commas, question marks, because then the text-to-speech system looks for those to figure out how to do inflection. Right, it's not like a really basic text-to-speech system. It's actually like using a model, and it tries to like figure out inflection from the punctuation. So I wait for a period. So like when we did something like, oh, why is the sky blue? The LLM actually spits out this like obnoxiously long single sentence, and so it waits for all of that. But if it responds with like 2 or 3 sentences, those are parsed fairly quickly. So you're right. That is a good way to do it, and I'm doing my best right now to like multi-thread everything and just queue it out.
I'd like to point out, too, that we also ran into a fun thing when we were visiting DigiKey. We went to the main base of DigiKey, and we were hanging out in the hotel programming, and we're trying to give it more personality, and we realized that it doesn't understand, like, sighing or, like, any type of extra emotion. So it says asterisk, sigh, asterisk, and it would just literally say, like, those type of things while it's talking, because it just doesn't know that. And I've left it because I find it funny, but, like, it's one of those weird, like, prop engineering things, too, because I've noticed if you don't have a small break while you're talking to it, sometimes they'll hear something different and give you a completely different answer. I think my robot's hard of hearing. I never thought about that until just now.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But you're right, like the asterisks would come out of the LLM, and we could filter for them, but we found it hilarious,
Yeah,
so we just
it was
left it in. Yeah.
Fine.
Does that answers your question, I'm hoping, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. Sorry, what was?
How does it deal with the colloquialisms?
Oh, the colloquialisms. Oh, I haven't tested it. It seems to understand stuff we say to it decently well. I don't think we get much out of it. I haven't really gone down to the level of like, let's try like regional colloquialisms, see what it does with it. But that's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, I just sit around and ask it dumb questions all day and see what type of responses I get, and then I filter out those responses. Because if you take the original llama thing and start, since it's all based off of meta, it believes all the conspiracy theories, and I'm not about to have a conspiracy theory robot. I'm sorry.
Although just lean into it as like satire. That'd be pretty funny.
I'm drawing the line. This is not Futurama. I'm not about to run with
I love
that.
Futurama.
Any other questions?
We have one in the back and one up here.
Well, yeah, one up here first. That's all you had. Go.
Oh.
How did you decide what digit sounds like?
Oh, that's fun. So I'm working on that in the future. So we use the basic Piper TTS. That's just the basic voice. It's very robotic, very like boring, but I do have voice acting friends that I want to pay to like actually be Digit's voice, because you can actually use Piper TTS to program your own AI voice. I was thinking about making it have my voice, but then one, it's going to be 1,000 phrases you have to say and edit, and then I think I'll get tired of hearing my own voice. And I don't think I'll probably get annoyed with myself. It'd be a whole thing, be yelling at myself and down, yeah. So I have voice acting friends, and I plan to have a special like thing for just Digit itself to have its own special voice. But you can also go into the Piper TTS code and start editing things to make it sound anything you want, different languages. I played around with that. He didn't, but I did. So.
Yeah, when I chose Raspberry Piper as the TTS system, it was just like, what's their basic model that seems to run fast enough? And I'm like, good enough, Jay, have fun. But to answer your question, yes, it's a machine learning model, and you can just feed it voice samples, and it can learn to speak like whomever you want. So that's what Jay's been working on.
If you've been on TikTok and seen any random like AI voice model sound like your favorite celebrity, that's how they did it.
Another question?
How do you decide when to continue iterating or changing your current robot and when to leave it and move on to the new one?
Therapy. No, seriously. I have situations where my personal rule is if something breaks, I blame myself. I don't blame anybody else if someone's messing with the robot. Because like this guy comes off, I can literally just yank him off. And here, take him.
Oh, I have too many. Okay.
Well, give me the other mic
buddy, it's okay. It's okay. I know.
So funny thing about it, I had this version 03. The 04 version looked like this originally. I took it with me to Maker Bay area, but it was super uncomfortable. But I had made a micro digit for another smaller event I was doing that night, and it was super comfy, and it was designed like that. And I was like, I want that. And then even more funny, yesterday I got fun at the party, and I took a bad fall, and I broke the robot. And I felt really bad, so I ran home and repaired the robot. But then I got scared again, so I built a second one. So I have a second one of these sitting in my room right now, and I haven't slept because that's just how my brain works. If someone doesn't tell me to stop or be like, hey, you know, maybe work on something else, I will make this my life goal.
I'm also going to say, like, having it on my shoulder and feeling the servo move around, it feels like a cat on your shoulder. It's really interesting.
Fun facts, for the future iterations, I do want it to be able to crawl, which shouldn't be too hard. I've looked into how to do that. I also want to add vibration motors. That way it kind of purrs when people hold it, because I like kind of like tossing it off and giving it to people. And the next version, which I'm definitely going to need help with, because like I said, I want to put the actual Jetson board in the robot. But that one, I want to have face tracking and then voice stuff. So that one, I'm going to be either really buff or I'm going to have a really lot of smart people helping me.
Or make it into like a whole backpack system where it's
we
like...
did that before,
I know,
though.
but it's the battery that's the problem. The thing's so heavy for the Jetson.
I mean, we can go nuclear.
No, yeah, that's true.
Let me give you my current module.
Go-
Oh yeah, I've seen them. Yeah.
Wow.
He's on TikTok. I follow him.
Yeah, if he's open source his code, that's a good... We can go...
Yeah, we can look for that.
Yeah, we can borrow that.
Yeah, I mean, technically, if it's open source, it's not borrowing. It's sharing it with the community.
This is true.
All right, any other questions? All right, cool. How are we on time?
We're good.
We're good. My
All right,
gosh.
thank you all for coming and checking
Yeah.
out our robots. Jay will be walking around, so come
Yeah,
find
so
him.
if you see me, yeah, thanks very much.